Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for inside stories, cutting-edge research, and the latest updates in the world of dairy farming. Our 113th episode explores how to maximize dairy cow fertility through genetic selection, explore current strategies, and future directions. So please grab a glass of milk, sit back, and let's get started with this episode.
Fertility is the cornerstone of herd productivity and economic profitability. Fertile cows, which conceive sooner after calving and need fewer inseminations, produce more milk and have reduced operating expenses. The primary goal of genetic selection for fertility is to minimize days open, or the time between calving and conception. This metric is a crucial indicator of reproductive efficiency and herd health. It includes various reproductive processes, such as uterine involution and fertilization. Concentrating on heritable qualities that increase fertility can create a strong herd capable of surviving reproductive problems. Join us as we investigate the present state and future directions of genetic selection for fertility in dairy cows, looking at different reproductive management techniques, the underlying genetics, and why they are critical for consistent performance across farming systems.
Dairy cow fertility has improved over time via selective breeding and management approaches. Days open, the interval between calving and successful conception, is critical. It reflects how rapidly cows recover to fertility after calving. Different dairy systems use various reproduction mechanisms. Less intensive methods depend on spontaneous estrus detection and minimum hormonal intervention. Days open are a solid predictor of fertility in this context, since they include various reproductive processes such as uterine involution and fertilization. In more advanced systems, hormonal therapies like PGF2A and NRH may synchronize estrus for scheduled artificial insemination, AI. These strategies may boost pregnancy rates, but they may overshadow the value of specific fertility components. Nonetheless, days open remain a vital statistic. Historically, genetic selection has been a powerful tool in our efforts to reduce open days and improve reproductive efficiency. By understanding and choosing specific fertility components, we can ensure high fertility in future cows, regardless of our management techniques. This knowledge empowers us to take control of our herd's fertility. Genetic selection and management practices influence the fertility landscape. As we get a better knowledge of fertility genetics, we can enhance reproductive efficiency across several systems, resulting in consistent and dependable fertility results.
The path to a successful pregnancy in dairy cows comprises a series of sophisticated biochemical processes, each potentially heritable and contributing to total fertility. Let's explore these critical phases, beginning with uterine involution. Uterine involution. Following delivery, the cow's uterus must return to its pre-pregnancy size and condition, a process known as uterine involution. This stage establishes the foundation for future reproductive activities. Quicker involution, governed by genetics, results in a shorter period between calving and the subsequent successful pregnancy. Estrus cycle reestablishment. The cow's estrus cycle must continue after uterine involution. This process includes hormone control in preparation for pregnancy. The time and regularity of these cycles influence when a cow is ready for insemination again, with genetics having a role. Estrus, expression and detection. Estrus, known as heat, must be visible and identifiable for successful insemination. Although management influences the severity and detectability of estrus activities, genetics also plays a role. Cows that exhibit more obvious estrus behaviors are inseminated at the best moment, increasing fertility rates. Ovulation. Ovulation, the release of an egg from the ovary, occurs after estrus detection. The timing of ovulation and insemination is critical for conception. Genetic differences may influence the time of ovulation and hence fertility. Fertilization and corpus luteum formation. After ovulation, the egg must encounter sperm to fertilize. Following fertilization, the corpus luteum develops and produces progesterone to sustain pregnancy. The efficiency of fertilization and progesterone production is genetically determined. Support of early cleavage and pregnancy establishment. The oviduct promotes early embryo growth, whereas the uterus provides an optimal environment for implantation. Hereditary factors heavily influence early pregnancy stages. Understanding the genetic basis of dairy cows' reproductive features is essential and critical. This understanding is vital to improving fertility in a variety of dairy systems. Recognizing genetic underpinnings helps dairy farmers and researchers aim for selective breeding, resulting in more efficient and sustainable farming operations. This emphasizes the urgency and significance of the subject.
Understanding the genetic basis of fertility features in dairy cows is critical for improving their reproductive success. Heritability, which measures the proportion of attributes handed down genetically, demonstrates how well humans can choose these traits. Important reproductive factors such as uterine involution, estrus cycle regularity, estrus expression, sperm capacitation, and ovulation have varying heritability levels. According to research, certain qualities, such as estrus expression and cycle regularity, have moderate to high heredity. Still others, such as successful fertilization and early embryo development, have lower heritability. This variance emphasizes fertility as a complicated and multidimensional feature. For example, the characteristic days open, representing the time between calving and successful pregnancy, encompasses these separate occurrences, demanding genetic and phenotypic techniques for proper selection. Dairy farming has developed to prioritize these heritable features via modern genetic testing and genomic technology. Currently, genomic selection is used in breeding programs to estimate the genetic potential of young animals based on DNA markers related to fertility. This method accelerates the genetic increase in fertility. These methods have resulted in better fertility rates over time. Using genetic data to predict heredity may improve breeding choices, reduce open days, and increase conception rates. However, knowing how genetic factors interact with environmental and management variables is necessary due to the diversity of reproductive management approaches throughout dairy systems. Effective genetic techniques use balanced selection indices, including productivity and fertility features. This balance ensures that reproductive advances do not compromise other essential qualities. However, it's important to remember that continuous research and monitoring are crucial for improving these techniques and maintaining high fertility in dairy cows. This ongoing commitment keeps us engaged in improving our herd's fertility.
Understanding the influence of various reproductive management strategies on dairy cow fertility allows for more informed genetic selection choices. In minimum intervention systems, cows are inseminated once estrus is recognized, depending on natural estrus expression and detection. Estrus cycle regularity and sperm viability are essential characteristics in this context. In contrast, intensive systems employ hormonal therapies, e.g. PGF2-AFIA and GnRH, for scheduled artificial insemination. These technologies decrease uncertainty in estrus detection and insemination timing while emphasizing the relevance of the cow's hormonal response and sperm survival in a controlled environment.
Breeders should prioritize many essential genetic assessment features when selecting enhanced fertility in dairy cows. These characteristics aid in identifying cows with improved reproductive performance, boosting the herd's overall efficiency and output. The most significant traits include days open, the number of days from calving to the cow being successfully pregnant. Shorter days open indicate better fertility. Conception rate. This metric represents the proportion of inseminations that result in a successful pregnancy. Higher conception rates indicate higher fertility. Calving interval. This is the period between two consecutive calvings. A shorter interval often indicates improved reproductive effectiveness. Estrus cyclicity, a cow's capacity to resume regular estrus cycles after giving birth, suggesting reproductive health and readiness to rebreed. Heifer pregnancy rate, the possibility of a cow being pregnant at a certain age. This is critical for determining the future reproductive capacity of young calves.
Minimal intervention methods concentrate on natural reproductive characteristics, while intensive systems prioritize hormone responsiveness and uterine receptivity. Understanding the genetics of these features allows cows to function successfully under various management techniques. New Zealand is an excellent example of effective genetic selection for fertility. Dairy producers have established a breeding program to improve qualities such as calving interval, days to first heat, and conception rate. This program, led by the Livestock Improvement Corporation (LIC), employs modern genetic methods to select bulls whose daughters have greater fertility. Over time, this concentration has dramatically increased herd reproductive efficiency. Scandinavian dairy industries, notably in Sweden and Norway, provide another example. Their Total Merit Index (TMI) evaluates health and fertility features, resulting in increased milk production and better reproductive performance. Genomic selection has improved their capacity to find fertility-enhancing genes. How can dairy farmers apply effective tactics for their herds? Here are some practical steps. Genomic testing. Use genetic studies to identify cows and bulls with exceptional reproductive features. This enables educated breeding decisions. Record keeping. Meticulous records of calving intervals, days to first heat, and conception rates. This information is critical for choosing animals to breed. Consultation. Collaborate with a geneticist or breeding expert to create a customized breeding strategy. Experts may provide insights tailored to your herd's requirements. Emphasize health. Maintain proper health habits. There is a substantial relationship between fertility and general health. Ensure enough diet, shelter, and veterinary care. Adopt technology. Use estrus detection technologies and timed AI procedures to increase breeding efficiency and shorten calving intervals. Adopting these genetic selection tactics may increase your herd's fertility, resulting in higher production and profitability.
Finally, dairy cow fertility is determined by a combination of genetic factors and reproductive activities. A cow's rapid return to pregnancy after calving is critical for dairy farm output. Genetic selection aims to reduce the number of days open, but various management approaches provide variable fertility results. Understanding the genetics of fertility events, as well as adopting sophisticated reproductive technology, may help us increase fertility rates. Future advances in genetic selection and reproductive control will contribute to constant fertility in dairy cows, assisting the global dairy sector.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bullvine Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's insightful discussion. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Catch you next time on the Bullvine Podcast, where bovine expertise and community come together.